Genie grind, I wish I'm getting rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie went and made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fucking gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up a hit but feel like one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up till 100.
Hello world, I'm What If Studier, and today we are doing What If Naofumi was summoned by the Elves, Part 5. Last time was one of my greatest works, something I will not be able to topple for a while. But may we attempt a synchronized organization? Trying is what we humans are made for. So I shall try my best to best myself. Alright, enough with the processions. Naofumi wakes up in the morning. Lily by his side in his arms. The lights coming through the shades, a warm Luke color. The shades so soft, and the room so cozy. Something he hasn't felt in a while. He shifts out of the bed sheets just slowly enough and quietly enough not to wake her up. She seemed so peaceful. She had been through so much, and yet she was smiling. He wished that he could have a smile like that. Once all this is over, maybe. No, I can't think like that. He starts to walk out of the royal chambers, dragging along some of his pants by his leg. However, he does not notice. He looks into the mirror, seeing his arm gone to his left. The rest of his body all scarred up and torn. I guess that's the same, at least. His face, still as he had came here with, seems like the only thing that had stayed the same about him. Until he looks to the left of him. Good day, sir. A butler interrupts his morning. As Naofumi says, "Ah!" As he looks down to see, well, that he's purely naked. He cups around his private parts saying, "What the hell? Don't interrupt me, god damn it! You freaked me the fuck out! I almost attacked you there. God damn!" As the butler's like, "I'm so sorry, sir. I was made to wake up for you and give you these." As he holds out his hands, there are his clothes inside of them. Lily told me, as this submits Naofumi's suspicions. As Naofumi takes up the clothes and gets into them. They're royal. As they shift around his body, it feels weird. His dead skin seemed to have been smoothed over by lathering that she put onto him. She knows me well. She knows how much I itched in this body. He walks out of the royal chambers into the prince's chambers. He was drunk, bad shit, drunk out on the floor, flinging his arm up in submission with a beer in his right. "Dwarven beer? Where the hell did you even get this, you sad sack of shit?" As he picks it out of his hands, he's like, "Don't you take my drunk away from me. That's mine. I'm the prince." You're a sad excuse for one, that's for sure. You think I don't know that? What was that anyways, that you used before? Necromancy? I didn't tell you. They're going to spare me like a goddamn heathen. My own people. What do you mean? I practiced necromancy to try to bring back my sisters. And now I can't even bring back my own fucking father. He just curls up into a ball. Naofumi reminisces on Lillian, also curling up into a ball. He decides to drink some of the beer himself and realizes that it's dwarven. Interesting. He really wanted to just die by this drink. Naofumi picks up the prince, taking him on his shoulder, as he walks out into the royal backyard. The major grounds of the Tree of Life, at the bottom of it, right in front of Yggdrasil. They're hosting the death of their king and his funeral. Lillian had already made her peace with him. But the elves, they're not used to death. They were never used to death. He sees the people, all the elves gathering around. It was so odd for them to see death. They had been not touched for years by the outside world. And ever since the death of their queen, they parted with the rest. They played their horns in a sad motion, with their hanging heads posted up on their corners. Holding up their family sigils, they all take one after another, family after family. Even the royal ones hanged their head in silence. Naofumi makes his way down, holding the prince to his left. The prince, just simply quiet, has hit him harder than anybody. Although he wasn't crying, he was just sitting there, watching in such aromatic disbelief. He reminded him of what Deku Naofumi was really. He was wanting to be. I can't just leave these people like this. I can't. Never. I'll help them some way or another. So he let the prince fall down to the ground, resting him on a nearby outcrop, sitting next to his father's grave. He repents under his breath for everything, for not being good enough. But now Fumi looks at this differently, a chance. Elven people, I hear your calls and your cries as they all sigh and hold their weak heads to him. I am Naofumi, the hero that your princesses sacrificed to save. And your king has now sacrificed his life to keep the peace of your kingdom. I will repay their debts. I will repay my debt to them in folds. But the real enemy is not the necromancer. It's the people that forced the necromancer upon us. The necromancer that wouldn't have won unless the humans had helped. We are the elven people, an ancient race of warriors. Have we ever let anyone throw us into this bad of a loop? They killed our king vicariously, at the very least. I am not asking for soldiers. I only wish to carry out a simple order in your name. Grant me this chance, and I will prove to you I belong in the Elven Kingdom. The prince, I know he has gone down a dark path, but that he was doing it for good. Will you trust me with your words and your hopes? We are not used to humans. as one of the elves finally speaks. Abruptly, it interrupts his train of thought, for he had never had one of them speak to him directly. But you, human, you protected our princess. It was the chieftain of the Elven Republic. His daughter clung to his leg, saying, "Will you really keep your promise?" As he looks down, saying, "I always have kept my promises, no matter who was asking of it. I even gave one to your king. I will not let him down either." "Then I trust you." As the chief holds his hands down to his daughter, she starts to run back. She looks back at Naofumi in hopefulness that maybe they can regain their once pride, so dearly held by all of them. They moved like willows wisps in the wind, as all the elven people returned back to their homes, their lives never the same, and yet they carry on with pride. For the elven people. He puts his hand onto his heart, a tear in his eye as he bends down onto one knee. "I promise I will regain back the pride of your country." He feels an arm wrap around his neck. "That was a good speech." "You think?" "I think they hate you a little less now." That'd be almost a sin in their culture, to trust a human. "Well, they'll have to get used to you, king." "I am not a king yet. Although I may have your hand in marriage for sure, but in their hearts I have to prove myself first." "When should we head out?" "Don't be so fast. It's only the second wave." "Second wave of what?" "The demons. You don't have to worry about any of that, as long as we're together." "Right, as long as we're together." He picks her up like a feather as he carries her on his back. "You know, this cross thing, can you take it off?" As he attempts hard, he had packed up for the road just before with his blackened armor, the rest of the people in their blackened hearts. When he was leaving, she gave him small talk, something to think about. The brother soon followed after, crawling behind small cliffs, watching as they leave. This is their final goodbye to the elven people. When they return, there will be much to tell, and many stories to be told. Goodbye to all, and happy givings. They turn their backs on the elven people, head off into the sunset. And so they start their small journey to the human kingdom. They have much time alone, as she usually takes a break by jumping onto his back. His superhuman ability to have near infinite stamina, and his strong back were able to carry her easily. Each new town bring them much joys. Naofumi and her got heavy into drinking. However, when they did, it provided for some quite fun adventures, and for some times where they were rescued by a random stranger before they were caught into trouble. I had always wondered who was the gloved man that's kept on saving them. Over their wild adventures, they came over villages burned, destroyed. one of the men came up to Naofumi, saying, "The Empire, they were supposed to send reinforcements. Why would they forsake us? Why?" He falls into the arms of Lily. She tends to him with her healer of light. Recently, her spirits have gotten a buff out of nowhere. Naofumi mentions the Spirit King residing inside of his shield. She thinks this is absolutely amazing and also horrifying for the implications. Naofumi begins to discover the two residing people in his heart. We zoom back a little bit on why he has two people inside of his heart. One was the king, the sacred tree, the demon, the king of spirits, giving him holy power, unmatched by most. However, unable to infuse it into a weapon, he keeps it inside of a shield in times of need. That allows him to apply a buff to himself, which allows him to basically just to walk through his enemies. He's able to summon the spirits of the demon of the king. However, he's not good in any of those except the spirits of revenge. Yes. And when he was back at the wreckage, mourning the death of the king, he had found the old demon, the old lich's cross, the one that he had worn to give him so much power. When he picked it up, immediately sealed to his arm, and he felt a surge of power, and then it was gone. The latent power inside of it was massive, giving him such a massive power buff. It was almost darkness. He felt like his emotions were even more heightened at that point. So when they were crossing past these deserts and places to get to the human empire, they found many of the tribulations of the heroes. The rogue nation, which had been led by a rebellious group that did not know how to properly control it, nor were they forgiving in any way. And then the sword hero, not confirming his kill and leaving a dragon to haunt a village and its dead carcass. But the holy power of the tree, Naofumi basically touched it and just immediately phased through it, killing it in an instant, leaving Lily to clap in happiness, sort of rooting for him in the background. Naofumi then wanders upon the site of the infected and cursed talisman that the spear hero had left behind. At this point, Naofumi could basically solve all of these problems with the simple touch of his holy grasp. However, he was running very low of it. He decided to talk with the Spirit King and see how he was doing, for he hadn't talked to him in so long. So he lays to rest as Lily walks among them, securing the position around his body in a tent next to the sick ones. When he delves deep into his mind, he sees the two shields all by themselves. It's so funny, because two men come out of them. The king looking so spirited in his ways, kind of funking around as some background music starts to play. Who knows? Some funky jazz. He says, "Hello, sir! Thank you so much for coming and seeing me. It's been so freaking long. I've been stuck with this idiot." As, the lich starts to progress and seep out from his, sort of, its cross. It says, "Oh, come on. We all know that you hate me just because I'm better. You haven't done anything for us, lich. He should go, right?" As, he's been torn between these two men. "What do you offer in strength, then, lich?" "Don't worry about it." "See what I mean? I don't trust this guy at all. I'll raise you up to the top, and we will together prove that this world is holy. We shall liberate every single place. Psh! Oh, what? You can provide more, Lich? As the Lich looks to him, saying, "Oh, you have no idea. You will soon learn of why my power is so useful." Wow. So you refuse to tell us? Perhaps. Oh my god, you're not dark and mysterious, you're just confusing and aggravating. Calm down, King. We'll figure out his power later. For now, I have to return to Lily. Ah yes, the daughter of the king. Isn't that correct? So he has fallen too. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for you. Didn't you have a contract with him? Well, yes, for my son, Poseidon. He has the trident of Poseidon. You didn't pick it up? No, he died in the Earth's core. All I got was the shield that he had sacrificed himself to gain from the body of the Lich. Ah, I see. That makes sense why he's here then. As the Lich says, yes, that power does reside within the shield. However, I will not so easily submit to you. It would take quite a lot to delve into my powers. Safely, at least. We can make... How about a deal? Really? A deal? What could that possibly be? He opens up his eyes again to feel a cold shiver down his spine. Metal grinding against his back, rumbling over each stitch that held his body together. He was in a whole different world. There was lava leaking from the ceiling for some reason. He was no longer in the tent as he tried to rush to the outside. He was inside of a container made out of full steel. The thing on his back was some sort of weird creature that glitched and stared at him. Its metal face and rest of its body were made out of flesh and combined with molded metal, but it was still torn apart, like some mad scientist had gone rampant on it. And a blade in one hand and a rotating saw in the other. It struck at him, tearing away at his flesh on his right arm. He quickly regenerated it as he gains some distance away from it. He applies the holy buff to his shield as he charges back at the fiend, trying to defeat it. However, it just disappears. What the fuck? It's like a whole new world. As he opens up the tent door, it reveals to a whole different plane, torn and destroyed. The land markings are all but desperately trying to reminisce about the past. No any people anymore, only slaves whipped lashed through the desert. What the fuck? He feels his head pounding hard. It's like nothing before as he curls up trying to get it through his head that none of this is real. He has to return. Who's saying that? Could it be Lily? Ugh, as he falls down to the ground. And finally wakes up to reality. Finally, he wakes up to the real reality. He shakes his head as he looks up and sees Lily's face smiling down upon him. Oh my god, I'm finally back. She's like, what? He's like, I'm just happy to be back in this reality. She's like, that's great and all, honey, but the poisonous monster is kind of attacking the villagers. As he's just like, wait, what? He then opens up the thing, seeing the gigantic, plant monster that is made of an evil spirit. He can immediately tell. As the king says, "Oh yes, that's right, the rampant plant spirit. It should be making a big ruckus because of my disappearance right about now." Of course he is. Come on, Lily. Let's take care of it. You let me fight this time? I guess so. Just don't get hurt. Alright? For me. She says, "Of course. You can trust me to guard myself." As then she focuses hard, putting out her hands, she summons her two sisters to the left and right of her. She's happy to see them, with tears in her eyes. She hugs them, although they do not return the favor. It seems that they're happy. Naofumi unleashes his shield. With holy prowess, it shines as he charges straight at the fiend, saying, "Come on, I'm ready for ya." The plant monster returns in kind, slamming Naofumi down to the floor. Naofumi, however, had blocked that as he looks up with blood coming from his head, from hitting his head against the plant monster's spines. "You're gonna have to do better than that!" As he reflects the plant monster's whip straight back at it as it hits itself on the face, making it even more angry. Several shots are fired into its side before it could direct its attention at Naofumi. It also sees the girl with several princesses around her as they fire volleys upon volleys at the monster, stopping it from being able to do anything as Naofumi scales its absolutely massive size. The pink and plump center of it was its weak spot, so they kept on aiming straight for it. She casts multiple skills, allowing them to just absolutely barrage this thing, basically dwindling its health straight down to halfway before Naofumi was even able to get a punch in. Naofumi, right above its face, decides to use Holy Smite as he puts his shield up to the sky, and a lightning bolt comes from it as it crashes down onto it. Zero effect. What the fuck? And then it just swats him, sending him flying. And he like recovers back to his feet after destroying a tent right behind him in a crash. Several of the sisters are hit out of the way by the demon. Well, the spirit, I should say. It continues chasing after her, but with her evasive moves, she's able to stall it enough time for Naofumi to realize that it's a spirit. It's not affected by the spirit. King of spirits will not work. God damn it. Fine. Prove your worth then, unholy devil. I'm not the devil. As just arms start to spread out from the unholy cross. It almost lifts him up like it's cradling him. As these arms that grow out of the cross just start to spread and spread and spread until it seems like it's growing. As the head pops out saying, "Hi, kid. Been a while. You fucking lich." As he bashes his head into the ground, he's like, Hold up. I'm here to do some damage. As long as you hold to it, I trust you. Not really, but he's just saying this so that the lich will gain some trust with him. He charges back out there, running along the vines that are left from the thing. As she's done running. Lily turns around and fires one of her dwarven arrows that she still had left, exploding it and turning its head over to the side, allowing Naofumi to get a punch straight to the face with it. As the lich says, "Unholy sap." Basically, this is anti-life. It collects all of this embers inside of Naofumi's mouth, as then he spews out flakes and embers out of his mouth, instantly catching the vines on fire as he punches it in the face, stunning it, stopping it from putting out its own fire. It was a total destruction. As the vine monster goes up in flames, its soul starts to seep out, and its spirit of the soul was so dramatically powerful, able to take out 2 of the princesses. This Deku raises his hand up into the air. He summons the holy kings, the spirit king's shield, sucking in the spirit and holding it in tightly. He then asks Lily to come to him. She comes over to him and immediately gives him a massive hug. He says, "No, not like that, but that'll work either way." She's like, "Why are you talking so properly?" He says, "Excuse me. It happens whenever I use the holy shield." He touches his hand to her head. Vines start to appear around where he had touched her on the head. This holy seal will grant you the power to use the vines. The vines will be your friends from now on. Nature will be at your call. That almost 400 level deep spirit is now at your call. As she holds up her hands, as she feels like she had naturally gained this ability. It was incredible. Thank you, Naofumi. You've done me such a favor today. It's nothing. For the future queen of the elven people, she would need this. She says, "Thank you. Thank you so much." As the people come out, all happy that their village is now away from the Scourge, they give him a gift, a bracelet. One that has a flower wrapped around it. It says artifact around it. Epic class. He had never seen an epic class, however this one was quite powerful. It says that it was made with love and nurture. It will try to protect the user with vines whenever they are attacked. It has 3 uses inside of it. So Naofumi turns to her and grants her one more gift. She's almost so blushing to accept. She gladly does. "It's almost like you're proposing," he says. "Not exactly. It's not like that." She's like, "Oh, no, it's fine. Save the dramatic for the plebeians, is that right?" He says, "Right, you're a tyrannical princess, I forgot." They both have a good laugh. However, the villagers are very lost. They don't understand the dynamic that we have. Such a weird world.
Genie grind, I wish I'm getting rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie went and made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fucker gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up a hit up for that one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up to